And welcome back to Jeff Koinange live at the Intercontinental Hotel here with the Grand Mullah himself, Ahmednassir Abdullahi, and House Majority Leader also happens to be Member of Parliament for Garissa Town. He insists he's not resigning, right?
I'm not in charge of Operational Command. I am in charge of representation and legislation.
Okay.
I'm the leader of government business in Parliament.
Karago D. Mpiru says, we are sunk. These attacks seem to want to cripple education in Northeastern. Agree?
Education is completely collapsed in Northeastern, the health sector, a number of sectors.
You know,
Kenyans are living.
One point Kenyans don't emphasize is that the impact this had on, the common people in Northern Kenya.
Yes.
I mean, primary education is almost a standstill. Healthcare is almost a standstill. Civil servants don't work there. So, I mean, the victims, the silent victims of Al-Shabaab, really, is the people from Northern Kenya.
Yeah.
Yes.
Raymond Matata is asking, ask Duale, why did he have to wait for 147 to die for him to name the financiers of Al-Shabaab?
I'm not naming anybody. That's the list from government.
You say you have a list.
That's the list from government. And Jeff, what we have said, and I need to clarify, is that members of the community or the public had nowhere to report even the whereabouts of their children. They had nowhere to report sympathizers. They had nowhere to report people who were working with Al-Shabaab in creating the local infrastructure. What we did as leaders, and for the first time, a national counter-terrorism center has been set up with the telephone lines, some of them manned by local Somalis who know the language. All that we did in Northern Kenya was to listen to the people, look at the systemic failure in the security systems, share with national government, and tell the people, now you have a better, more vetted, independent place you can report. Once you report, the National Security Intelligence will do a due diligence on that person. And I don't think whether people now are interested in settling scores politically. What Ahmed is saying is that a region is closing down. A region economy is collapsing. You look at what happened yesterday in Mogadishu. More than 20 people were killed in the Ministry of Education. I mean, Al-Shabaab, when they cross across the border, they use the ethnic and religious card. They say, we want to kill the Christians, we want to kill people of the Muslim community. That is a script, a narrative for the Kenyan section. When they're in Somalia, they're killing ordinary Muslims, they're killing ministers, members of parliament, business community. So what we are telling our people in this country, let us not fall to their script. Let's stand united. Let's not be divided. Muslims have a stake in this country.
Okay.
Somalis have a stake in this country. We are in more than 8 counties. There's nowhere we are going. We are part and parcel of the Kenyan society. We feel the pain when innocent, promising Kenyans are butchered in our locality.
And I mean, a credit also which is not recognized a lot is, the average Christian Kenyan, I mean, look at Al-Shabaab. Every time it comes to a school or to to a bus, and then it separates people to Christians and Muslims, and then kill the Christians and leave the Muslims. And the peaceful reaction of the rest of Kenyans, because, I mean, that is, such a kind of act, especially on the part of Al-Shabaab, is designed, to trigger a religious war.
Sure.
But I think there's a lot of credit, we should give to Kenyans, that despite this provocation, and it's such a strong provocation.
There's no backlash.
There's no backlash. Yeah. I mean, it shows, the sophistication of many Kenyans, that they appreciate, what really Al-Shabaab wants us to do, and they ensure that it doesn't achieve that target. And I think that's something we should.
Good point. Ike Kenneth says, ask Duale if he's selling charcoal in Somalia at Kismayo Port.
I'm at the stock exchange in Nairobi. What business do I have with a charcoal in Kismayo? I mean, I can do business at Nairobi Stock Exchange. I can do business in the Nairobi CBD and Westland.
But I think there is a UN report on who is dealing in those charcoals.
Absolutely.
Yes. And I think it mentions a lot the Kenyan
Army. Tell him to read the UN monitoring report of 2013. Yeah.
And yet we're not doing anything about it.
At one stage, when I was growing, because I was from a very humble background, I used to sell charcoal. But
in Kenya.
Yeah, of course in Kenya. Of course in Kenya. What's up now?
Nothing is mine.
And of course, Ahmed has told you who are the custom officers.
Yes.
Yeah.
We know them very well, but, you know, we can't touch them.
But, you know, Jeff, very fundamental thing. There are more than 7 countries within the umbrella of AMISOM. There's Djibouti, there's Sierra Leone, there's Uganda, there's Burundi, there's Ethiopia, and there's Kenya. 6 countries. And there are 7. And why are we a soft target for Al-Shabaab?
Right.
Because we have taken over. You know, Kismayu was the nerve center, the economic hub of the Al-Shabaab. The rest of the other forces, I think, are somewhere also basking. So I think the narrative now, the discussion should be not only about KDF. How long will AMISOM take
actually,
to secure?
It's what Americans call mission creep.
Yes.
You know, I mean, the Kenyan army was sent for a mission.
Yeah.
They lost sight of that mission.
Yeah.
And then they substituted that mission with selling charcoal and sugar. So it's a mission creep. They forgot the main mandate.
And who dropped the ball?
There's a chain of command. Ask the generals.
Are you asking? You talk to the people at the top. You talk to the leadership. What do you tell them?
I talk to the political class. I don't talk to generals.
What did you tell them about this attack in your backyard? What did you tell them? Did you say, Mr. President, help me? We need help.
No. Mr. President, we have given him a raft of measures, including the closure of refugee camp. And as the leadership, now we are coming with a full report from the systemic failure, even of the security systems in northern Kenya. Corruption in a number of key security systems in northern Kenya. You know, are we in charge of our border controls? I mean, how do you allow Al-Shabaab insurgents to drive or to come in a bus from Mandera to the heart of Nairobi city? There are roadblocks. So there are a number of issues which we are going to share with the president and the people of Kenya.
Yeah.
We are seeing the president on Monday, and later we'll call a press conference and share with what we collected, analyzed.
When are you releasing the list?
The list is coming from the people. It's coming to those centers which are under the command of the counterterrorism center. Our business was to sensitize, to create a wave, to create a revolution, to tell the people you must stand and play your role in protecting your region and in protecting the country as a whole.
And who's to say that you won't target other sub-clans, not yours, or potential enemies? Who's to say?
There is what we call, in that center, a prior background check.
And?
If Jeff Koinange is a sympathizer, he becomes a sympathizer. If Jeff Koinange is not, then I don't think whether anybody will bring his name.
But I think for me this list is not important. What's important for me is, I think it is the high time that we open a register. You know, in some countries they have what is called, you know, the pedophile register, which is a public register, which knows, for example, that who is a pedophile in England, and when he moves into your neighborhood, you know, so that everybody can look after their kids. We need a register of how many kids are missing in this country.
Absolutely.
So that it becomes a public register, for example, that Ahmed's son or Ahmed's daughter or so-and-so from Mandera is missing with a picture. And then there's a register to show. So that when such a person, for example, either comes back to the country, you know, people who know, like his classmates or so, will say that this guy was away for 2 years, he's now coming back to the country, probably I should report. Then we need to know how many people are missing. How many students or how many professionals or how many locals in northern Kenya or in Nairobi are missing. Because once you are missing, you are either in Somalia or maybe a few in Syria. So for me that is more important, so that we know. I don't think up to now we know how many people are missing in this country.
Let me read Betty Murungi's tweet before I ask my next question. She says, Grand Mullah makes a good point on JKL about systemic failures of and biosecurity sector institutions. The leader of this terrorist group, this young chief's son, good-looking law student, right? His father had told the police several times, my son, I suspect my son. He even went to Mombasa, bought a car. The father called the police and said, I suspect my son. Police didn't do anything. Who do we blame?
Absolutely, yes, and that's why, picking from where Ahmed left, once we have a register, we have an audit of all the youth who are missing, we can make it even a public document. Put it on the newspapers. Put it at the counter-terrorism centers. That child will not come back. And if he comes back for good, for rehabilitation. But if you don't do that, the child will come, you'll tell the parent, I was working for an NGO in Somalia. The father will get confused. By then, he is already an intelligence officer for the Al-Shabaab. Or maybe he's the one to do the attack. So we have a serious systemic failure. But I think we need to go back and now recollect all the failures that has happened in our system. And each and everybody must take his role. Once we do the audit, that even will deter those children who will join Al-Shabaab. Because they say, if you join, now you have been known. And then more recruiting. And then secondly, and it happened in Mandela, we're being told in Mandela, I mean the National Intelligence Service and the security agents must zero in on the recruiting sites and the recruiting agents and personalities. I mean, if somebody can even recruit in a school, in Isiolo, we're being told there's a school where over 40 students have disappeared in a period of 2 years.
Gone where?
To Somalia. That school, there must be a cell. The security agents must first zone and know who is a cell, who is recruiting, what ideology are they using, what type of doctrination. That's why we are coming up with the moderate checks. Give them security. Most of them are scared of Al-Shabaab. Give them security, and they give a counter narrative to what Al-Shabaab is saying.
Grand Mullah, will that wall help? 700-kilometer wall, will that help, or is that someone's cash cow?
No, that's an Anglo-Listen. It's an Anglo-Listen wall.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I don't like about this country is that these spontaneous ideas that are irrational. I mean, someone has come up, countries like Israel, and I think Morocco have such walls. I mean, but there's a lot of thinking that goes into this. I mean, who has done the thinking? Have they shared with the Kenyans how this wall will work? Do we have enough resources even to patrol that wall? I mean, we don't have. But I think it's quite obvious that someone like all other scams in this country take advantage of, the situation we are facing, has come with this, and this is a theft, you can't put it better, it's a theft of public funds.
Daylight robbery. Mheshimiwa, the way forward. The way forward.
I think the wall can only work in, major towns where the border crossing point is. So you go to Mandera, there's a town called Bulahawa in this Mandera town. In between, you can put a wall of about 5-6 kilometers, and then you have one crossing point. But I need to see how Kenya is going to put a wall from Kiunga in Lamu all the way to... the completion of that wall will take 20 years.
Easily.
I mean,
yes.
It's a 23 billion project. I mean, you can't do something better with 23 billion in terms of security. I mean, you can recruit more soldiers, you can buy millions of cars, millions of cars. But I mean, nobody wants to do that rational, thought on this. But because it's easy to say that, I'm building a wall. I mean, and I know they will build those low-quality walls that will crumble,
After 3 years.
Trust me, they will build those walls that when you hit with a car, it will break down. But this is the Kenyan style, This is the Kenyan way of making money.
Yeah.
When there's a national
opportunity.
Yes.
What about a Department of Homeland Security? And I always say, why not create a department? This 23 billion, create a department.
No, let me tell you. We have created too many institutions. We have the best laws in this country, security laws. The problem is the men and women who are in charge. So we must deal with the individuals. I mean, what will Homeland Security bring? I mean, unless somebody, and that's what I want to say tonight, unless somebody somewhere wants to retire from a certain job and he wants to be given the Director General of that Homeland Security. I mean...
Who are you suggesting?
No, I don't want to suggest.
Karangi.
Very soon...
Who's retiring?
No, you look at the list of all the people who are retiring. Karangi. No, I don't want to say. There are many people who are retiring.
You have intelligence reports.
There are many people who are retiring. I mean, you are a B student. You can guess. No.
No,
I'm telling you.
I was not B.
Anyway, I have your record. We have the general file on you.
General file.
Let me tell you, Jeff, and I want to say it here. We voted for a new constitution. Every day we amend the laws. Give this country the best laws to fight, whether it is money laundering, corruption, security, good governance. But we are going in circle because we don't want to address the men and women who are in charge.
I agree.
Homeland security
I agree.
is another blow to give jobs to people who retire. You know, my father-in-law is a general. He retired many years ago. Generals should retire. PSS should go home. Ministers, young Kenyans must be given jobs who are from the university.
No, I agree with Duale. You know, this creation of institutions after one another. This is what we did with anti-corruption. When the Attorney General office couldn't work and it completely failed, we said, let's create an anti-corruption commission. We have created a commission C. We put one thug after another, one thief after another.
I'm telling you.
And it's unable to work. And the same will happen. I mean, our police force is not working already. I mean, we have seen the army where Somalia, they have taken some other jobs. What will Homeland Security add? What will it add? Just because, you know, the problem we have in this country is not creating institutions. It's the competence of the people we appoint.
Fine. And I'm glad you said that. And before we have our closing thoughts, what about a gentleman by the name of Major General Mohammed Hussein Ali? Come on, he's one of you all.
No.
It takes one to catch one.
No, Muhammad Ali is a very decent officer.
Yes. He's a former Army Ranger.
Yes,
Delta Force.
and I'm not lobbying for him. He's a good friend of mine. But Muhammad Ali can do a very good job. He can do a fantastic job. He saved Kenya during the post-election violence. Of course, there are a number of issues.
Yes.
He's not perfect.
Right.
But General Muhammad Ali can be. And one of our recommendations is even to appoint a Muslim to be in charge of the war against terror. So that he comes up with officers who can go to the mosque.
Yes.
I mean, the war against terror is community-based. You cannot take somebody who doesn't understand the culture, the language, the religion of that community, which significantly is where Al-Shabaab breeds.
Absolutely.
So, but General Ali has a track record. He's a decent man, and I think he fits the job. But that is the function of the appointing authority.
Sure.
Yes. Mine is just to give an advice.
Sure. That's the most intelligent thing you've said all evening.
Are you sure?
Closing thoughts.
Are you sure?
No, I think I agree on so many of the issues we raised today. We can't fight terrorism and radicalization in a vacuum. And the people who fight are important in this war. What is facing this country is, you know, institutional failure, corruption. Let me give you an example. You know, Duale said, you know, how could someone come with guns in Somalia, from Somalia up to Nairobi? I can assure you that when the police were checking probably a car carrying guns, they don't check the boot. They check the insurance, whether it has expired or not. Even tonight when you go on your way home, and there are so many roadblocks in Nairobi, when they stop you, they will switch on their torch and check whether the insurance policy has expired. They don't check the boot. They don't check the driver. They don't check anything.
The occupants.
Because he is more interested about seeing whether your license, whether this has expired and they can get some money. It's the way they are trained. It's the way they have been doing their work for the last 20 years. So we need to address these issues. You know, how does the police force works? How does the intelligence works? What kind of people do you appoint to lead? You appoint, you know, someone so incompetent to lead an institution. Then when it fails, you say, how did it happen? I mean, didn't you expect that when you appoint this idiot into this position, this will happen?
Yeah.
I mean,
choices have consequences. Washimura, last word.
That is the most intelligent question you have asked me.
You're still thinking about it, huh?
I'm telling you, that was the whole night, that was the most intelligent question.
You just made me use...
My final thought is that the war on terror is not about individuals. It's not about Duale resign. It's not about Duale is a terrorist. That I can allow for those who want to make their maiden speech in parliament, like the member from Avoko. It's about Kenya. It's about the security of each and every Kenyan. We need to come together along religious line, along ethnic lines. Forget about our political affiliation. Forget about blame game. Sit together. Communities are involved. Political leadership are involved. The North have set they have given the way forward. The Northern leadership. We want the Coast to follow suit. We want Western to follow suit. Nyanza, and across the board, from the president to the citizens, and make sure we look around, we look for those sympathizers, we look for the terrorists, and we provide also, and as a country, as a deliberate measure, infrastructures that don't make young people join Al-Shabaab. For example, you know, the issuance of ID cards, issuance of passports to the Muslim community, and many others. Because what we want to do, the people of Northern Kenya, we get close to 20 billion in our 3 counties. We want to see development. We want to build roads. We want to have the fruits of devolution. But what do we have now? We are fighting Al-Shabaab from morning to evening. And I think it's not about blaming the Somali community. Somali community is here to stay. They are part and parcel of the Kenyan society. The Muslim community is here to stay. All Kenyans and the rest of the country, the Christian community. And I want to thank them. They have shown high sense of tolerance, patience.
Maturity.
We want to the maturity. I mean, what is happening? They have not fallen to the script of the Al-Shabaab. But I think a time has come. It is not about Uhuru Kenyatta, Aden Duale, William Ruto, Raila Odinga. It is about the safety and the security of our people.
Absolutely. Mheshimiwa, well put. Asante sana.
Thank you for the good question.
You have a very strong backbone, especially when people come on this show and abuse you openly.
Who abused me? This guy who was funded by George Soros. You know, if your children's school fees and your meals are paid by a foreigner called George Soros, the founder of Open Society.
After you write a good proposal.
After you write a good proposal, and the proposal must insult Duale or the president. I mean, those are characters. We wish them well. We are, as a Jubilee, we are creating jobs, and I'm sure next year we'll give him job, either at NYS. I mean, he's called Boniface Mwangi.
Yes.
I pity him. I pity him. You know, he's not speaking his mind. He's speaking the mind of George Soros.
Yeah.
And he represents, you know, he sits here for Makao Mutua and the Open Society. They wanted to take over government. They said Uhuru must be arrested, William Ruto must be arrested. They became the president. So those who are saying hashtag arrest Uhuru, that is very good sign for me. I might be the next president after William Ruto.
Of what, Somalia?
No, Kenya.
Oh, okay.
Somalia what? I have no business there.
Oh, just checking.
Yeah, maybe my good friend the lawyer can go and do business.
Gentlemen, thanks so much for being a part of the show.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Good discussion. Very sober. Thank you. Very forward thinking. Programming note, last week, a former Deputy Speaker Farah Maalim was on the show and he pledged 100,000 shillings to the family of the fallen GSU soldier in the Garissa attacks. The father of the boy can either call KTN or get in touch with JKL, and we'll make sure that you get the money, because Farah Maalim has been asking, where does he send the money? Great gesture on his part. Mr. Sanga, please get in touch. Tomorrow night on this show, you're going to love this one. His name is Larry Mudomo, the trend, something. I'll get his name, I promise. I'll get his name by tomorrow night.
He's not a very famous Kenyan. We don't know the name.
He's going to kill me for this.
I thought you were going to say Raila Odinga or William Ruto or Kalonzo Musyoka.
Larry Madowo.
Or Ahmednassir Abdullahi.
You don't know Larry Madowo?
No, I know him.
Do you know him?
Larry?
Madowo.
There's only one Larry I know, the guy of NTV.
That's the one.
Oh, that's a serious guy. That's a serious guy. He's a very good host.
You know, all of a sudden, you speak from both sides of your mouth.
No, he's a good guy. You know, there are many Larrys.
Okay, he's that.
There are many guys of the Open Society.
Yeah. Okay, no, it's that Larry.
Larry is a very decent man.
Yeah.
You bring him here?
Yes, tomorrow night.
To do what?
To talk.
On what?
Why don't you watch the show?
I have a space, my friend.
Do you have a TV at home?
I have a 60-inch flat screen.
But you don't say.
No, I watch. You know, you need to tell me the agenda. I mean, I better watch football, something else. Or watch CNN, Christian Anampo. You know, it's not much I should watch you. I mean,
are you kidding me?
Yeah. I mean, there is Wolf, there is Christian Anampo, Al Jazeera.
Then there's Jeff Koinange live.
Yeah, when Ahmed is here, I'll watch.
The crap. Keep tweeting at HON Aden Duale, at Ahmednassir Law. These guys are making me sweat, Sonia. What's going on here? At Koinange Jeff, the hashtag JKL. I understand Duale on his own is trending highly. like number 1 or something? Duale.
We'll watch you tomorrow.
We'll watch you. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
I always trend from the time whatever I said in Narok with Isaac Ruto I had issues.
You can trend.
I trended for 15 days.
Huh?
Number 1. After my spat with the chairman of the Council of Governors.
Yes.
Yeah, you know we are founder members of URP.
Yeah.
But now he has gone back to Kano.
You might be trending.
I wish him well. He has gone back to Gideon. And you know the only thing in the CV of Gideon Moi is that he was a son of the former president. There's nothing else there.
That is a disclaimer, people. I don't want to be sued again, man. You know, I've been sued by so many people.
I'll be very popular.
Your lawyer is next to you.
Your lawyer is here.
My lawyer's here.
Yeah. And for me, if he sues me,
yes,
I'll be very happy. At least I've been sued by the son of a president. That is a plus. And Ahmed will represent me.
Okay, tufunge hii show bana, tutasuiwa. Thanks so much for joining us. Good night. Good luck. Oh my, what my. Hii ni moto sana bana. Wacha ni